Hi everybody, this is Julia from abbasheart.net. I'm here with some great ideas on what you can get God for Christmas. I'm sure you've heard of the book 5 Love Languages, and I thought since it was Christmas time, what could we do for the one who has given us so much? How can we give God a gift during this season? And of course, not just during this season. How about we think of giving God gifts a little bit more often? Like this would be a lifestyle of living to give back to the Lord, just out of gratefulness for what he's done for us. So Jesus died on the cross to save us from our sin, to also set us free from the darkness that oppresses us on this earth. So it's not just about going to heaven, but it's about living in freedom continually having his Spirit and the Comforter with us as we go through life. And this is a gift that money cannot buy. And so what could we do with our hearts that are just so filled with gratefulness that we want to give back to the Lord in a tangible way? And one time when I was in prayer, after God had set me free of so much stuff, I just was crying out to him and I said, God, I have nothing. I quit my job. I was just healing. I was in this process of healing, figuring out what my identity was. But in this process, I was still so grateful that he had given me a second chance and that he was healing me. I could see signs of him healing me. And in that gratefulness, I said, how can I give back to you, Lord? And I said, God, how can I serve you? You're such a great God. You're so easy to love. You're so good to me. How can I be good back to you? And he brought to mind somebody that had really hurt me. And I was like, okay, why are you putting this person's picture on my mind's eye? Why am I seeing this person? I'm talking about you, God. I want to bless you. And I just felt him tell my spirit, be my hands and feet. Bless this person. Forgive this person. And do something that would touch their heart like I've touched your heart. Set them free. Interesting. So it was easy to love God just in the privacy of my heart, but the challenge was to love and do something for someone who wasn't loving to me. That wasn't as easy, but it did mean something to God. So I made it mean something to me. So the 5 love languages are acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So thinking about all those things, I was wondering how I could bless God in those unique and different ways. So for acts of service, I just asked God, how can I serve you today? Can I spend just an hour of my time in worshiping you, focusing on who you are and what you've done? Sometimes it seems like it would be a long time to spend an hour worshiping the Lord. But once you begin, it just seems to roll and you are taken into a heavenly place. So it's a blessing when you're taking the time to bless the Lord. He always blesses you back when you take the time to worship him. For words of affirmation, worship God by expressing your love for his goodness, expressed in your life personally, not generally. This detailed account will keep the fires of intimacy stoked for you and for God. Really stop and think about it. You have the power to bless the Almighty. You have the power to do this with your own words. Gifts. How about offering your gifts or your talents to him by asking him, how can I bless you with my talents? Could I make a gift for someone who feels unworthy of love? Can I take a moment to write a prophetic word for someone who is struggling? Should I call a friend who is going through a trial that needs prayer? We can do things and be God's hands and feet for others. Quality time. Replace the time wasters with intentional time in his word or in his presence. God has shown me this sacrifice has eternal reward. We may never see the fruit of it in our lifetime, but we will never regret the time that we invest with the Lord. From God's perspective, this is always an investment. An example of going deeper in this way would be finding a Bible verse and pursuing God for a deeper revelation on it. It's like having an intimate conversation with a friend, and they're sharing their heart, and you're asking them, please tell me more about what's important to you. I want to hear it. And just listening, showing your friend that you really care by asking the questions, taking in the information they give you, and making it important to you. Physical touch. Ask the Lord, how can I be your hands and feet today? Who can I bless with my intentional presence? Examples of this would be something simple like, my friend is moving, maybe I could help them and do this in service of you. Make a meal for someone who is recovering from a heartache or surgery. Give a pedicure to somebody who can't afford to get one on their own. God wants them to feel important. So you make the time and you go through the effort to do something special for them. If we are made in the image of God, if we want to be loved and chosen, could we consider that God wants to be loved and chosen as well? He cares deeply about relationship, focusing not on perfection, but on our heart's intentions, backed by tangible follow-through. How many times has a friend that you really were excited to meet backed out at the last minute on a coffee date? How did that make you feel? I think a lot of us do that with God. And in the back of our mind, we just think, well, he understands. How many times have you canceled an appointment you made with him because you knew he was always going to be there? How do you feel when your friends do this to you? How do we make the Lord feel in importance when we just throw him our extra scraps of time here and there? We don't make time for him in an intentional way. I'm not saying any of these things to make you feel bad. I just want you to consider a new way of looking at the Lord and your relationship with him, to treat him as a real friend, because he promised to be our comforter. He would never leave us. He would never forsake us. We have those friends who are actually very good friends. They never leave us. They're always there for us. And a lot of times, those are the very friends that we don't appreciate and we don't honor and treat well. I hope that as believers, we don't take the most important relationship in our life, our first love, and treat him as if he's an option. So that's what my challenge for you today is, just to take the time to love the Lord in the quality ways that he loves you. Let's refrain from flourishing claims of loving God without living a life of expressed, tangible love. He deserves it. He deserves our very best. I hope you enjoyed this time together, and I hope I get to see you soon. Take care.